In this tutorial, we are going to be covering objects in JavaScript. So let's dive in. So objects in JavaScript are pretty similar with the objects we deal with in real life. For example, a notebook is an object and it would be having certain properties like the number of pages in it, the color of pages in it, and all those kind of stuff. So in the same way, we can create an object in JavaScript as well. So let us see how we can do that. So first I will declare a variable. Let's say person. And then the first way to create an object in JavaScript is to use these curly braces. You can also create an object in JavaScript by using the object constructor. Let us see how we can do that. So we can do new object with the capital O and then round brackets and semicolon. So this is another way to create an object in JavaScript, but I'm not going to be using this way in this tutorial because it is a little bit trickier than this one and it is also not necessary in most cases. Now this person variable is an object and it would be having certain properties. So properties of an object in JavaScript are key and value pairs. So first, to declare a property, we have to put a key. So let's say name. And to assign it a value, we have to put colon. And after that, let's say the name is Tom. So now this is a key. The name is the key and this string Tom is the value. So this is a key value pair or a property of the person object. Now to add another property after it, we have to use the comma operator. So let's say the next property is age and it is 40. So now this person is an object and it is having two properties in it. Alright, now we know how to create an object in JavaScript. Let's log this to the console and see what's the output. There we go. We are getting our object in console. Okay. So now let's see how to get a specific property of an object in JavaScript. For that, we have to use object name and after that the dot operator. Then you have to provide the key of the property which you want to get from the object. So let's say I want to get the name. So I will do person.name and I will get Tom because it is the name property of the person object. And now let's check the same thing for age and we are getting 14. Alright. So this is how you can get a specific property of an object. And now let's see how to change a specific property of an object. So for that, again, we have to put the object name. So it is person and the key of the property which you want to change in the object. Let's say it is name or let's say it is age. And after that, let's say we are going to be changing the age to 15 now. So if we log the object in the console right now, here you can see the age property of the object person is changed. So this is how you can change a specific property in an object. Alright. Now let's see what is a nested or a complex object in JavaScript. So a nested or a complex object in JavaScript is an object inside an object. So let me create another property. Let's say preferences. And we have preferences in a bunch of different things. So we have to create an object here. So let's say the preferences in food is noodles. And I'm going to be adding another property. Let's say the preferences in sports is football. So now we have an object inside an object. So it is called a nested or a complex object. So let's see how to work with them. So now I'm getting the preferences object from the person object. And if we log this to the console, we are getting our nested object. And now to get a specific property of the nested object, we again have to use the dot operator. So let's say food. So we are getting the preferences property from the person object and then we are getting the food property from the preferences object. And if we run the code now, we are getting noodles, which is the food property of the object preferences, which is a nested object. So this is how you can work with a nested object in JavaScript. And let's see one last thing here. So let's see how to delete a specific property in your object. For that, you have to put the delete keyword, as simple as that. And after that, object name, which is person. And let's say I want to delete preferences. And now if I log the person object, I'm not going to be getting the preferences object or the property. Indeed, we are not getting the preferences property inside the person object because we have deleted it. And if we try to print it, let's see what we get. And we will be getting undefined because it is not defined in the person object because we have deleted it. It doesn't exist in there. So this is how you can delete a specific property of an object. So that is it for objects in this tutorial. Obviously there is more to it, but all of those stuff is beyond the scope of this tutorial. Alright, so that is it for this tutorial. If you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe for more tutorial like this, probably for the next JavaScript tutorial. And you can also leave your suggestions in the comments down below. And I will see you in the next video. Until then, see ya.